Katerina, the ballerina. Alicia slowly awakened that Monday morning at 6 a.m. and barely attempted to open her eyes. Her eyelids fluttered like mosquito wings, and for a whisper of a moment she felt and saw her eyelashes in her own peripheral view. And just like that, both eyes were halfway open, her consciousness flowing beautifully in and out, like strokes of the brush on a starry night. And she saw the pretty parallels of her detailed thoughts. Alicia was drawn to the blinds in her room. Perhaps like the mosquito, she too was drawn to the blinding light in the dark. Her childhood memories were guarded and definitely were not in the mood to come out and play. But someone who loved her told her that day not to be dissuaded, but rather to persuade herself and to trust that there were good memories in the vault of her mind. And as she lay quietly in her bed, she said to herself, "My birthday is only 6 days away." And this thought made her sad, so she slowly moved away, began to scan her room, laying perfectly and quietly still. Her arms and legs calmly beside her, with her eyes barely open, she began searching her room for an item that made her smile. She stopped to offer gratitude to her mind's eye for allowing her to even see her room from a different and brighter vantage point. The blinds seemed to notice that she had turned up her human frequency because her internal view became very clear and focused. The blinds were not blinding her anymore, and she became acutely aware that she was counting them in groups of 4. First group of 4, second group of 4 equals 8, third group of 4 equals 12, and so on. What is this, she thought? How am I able to separate the blur of blinds directly in front of me and count them individually, yet together? Alicia's calm and present mind was beginning to draw clear, thoughtful parallels, and what she, in her own mind, would trademark that morning before she sent it out into the universe. She had developed and coined the phrase in her own mind, and she called it paraclarity. Personal and clearly drawn parallel thoughts, and how she would start the process of effectively removing the heavy mental roadblocks that caused and prevented her from succeeding. Alicia was attempting to break the negative outlook of her own perspective on the current limitations and mental barriers she had effectively accepted for herself in her brief time on this earth. She was still relatively young, but her internal circadian rhythm was off, and for many reasons, such was her life. It was always a bit off of its axis, wandering the world like a compass dropped at the sea. Nevertheless, she was challenged with a reasonable request that day: to look for and hold on to a good memory. And she was challenged, and she accepted. She used her negativity as the fuel to fight the fire and find the light for a change. She considered and paused over the vast array of possibilities of her bedroom's life's inventory. Scanning desperately for a flutter of a moment and giving objects in her life the respect and love they deserved. Acknowledgement for the feelings and emotions behind the things, behind the possessions, the truth of what makes an item special. She paused again when the blinds caught a ray of sunshine that reflected off the pretty candy dish she had out on the stand which was directly in front of her. On that stand, there was a television in the middle. The candy dish, which she used as a key holder, and a vintage-inspired jewelry box to the right of the TV, which she had purchased herself when she bought her home a decade ago. She wondered if there was a number big enough to capture the amount of times she had easily glanced and passed over the smile items in her lovely bedroom and accepted the pattern that unapologetically went ablaze at the trail of her tears. This morning, there was a different feeling looming in the room, she thought. And this feeling looked past the blinds, and that surpassed her fears. A new feeling came over her, and she would use this, memorize this, and use this as a shield against the tyranny of her own vapid thoughts. She could use this, I thought, and not allow or feed the rodents that she usually would let cross. And she realized that she had been doing this now for her entire little existence, nearly 40 years. The ray of light from the blinds danced on the candy dish and jumped inside the bowl right in front of her and illuminated the contents in the bowl. A quarter, 1 dime, 1 nickel, and 1 penny. The 4 denominations of change, which in fact equaled her actual age. She continued to draw parallel and clarified thoughts and emotions out of her semi-conscious mind that was now in the hypnagogic state, the middle part, middle ground, the space in between, where reality and dreams are in constant and chaotic motion. Her new energy began to fill her room like warm water at the bottom of a porcelain bathtub. She carefully and calmly attempted to maintain her eye movement, which was rapid now, and focus, but also let go simultaneously. And this new merge of all these forces forced her to give up and give in to the moment, to give into her mind, to give into her body, to give into her spirit. And this new third-party agreement proved to her that this life, with its array of situations and complications, is always ready and waiting and very willing to help her, and will always be full of rays of light, even with her eyes tightly shut. And as Alicia submitted and gave into the trance, her right eyelid flickered like a candle doing a dance. Her eyes, now closed shut for a dream, began to see the shape of the jewelry box, which gave way to the truth of a dream. And in this semi-conscious dream state, she began to calmly and gently open her eyes. But her jewelry box had now been disguised. And one look, and she said in her dream, "Oh, it's Katerina the ballerina. Hi, how have you been?" You see, when Alicia was 9, her beautiful mama gave her a combination music jewelry box with the beautiful, perfect, pretty, pink, tiny ballerina who would dance on command when Alicia opened the box to whisper her secrets into. And Alicia saw herself holding the box, which was beautiful, an eclectic, charming little box with a tiny lock and key, which was purchased for $3 from a little thrift store in Little Armenia. And Alicia decided it would be her music box of sparkling dreams, and she named the beautiful ballerina inside the box Katerina. And every time Alicia would open it, an automatic smile filled with magical wonder would brush across her pretty little face. And as Alicia grew up, naturally, Katerina did not. And one day, when Alicia was nearly 13, her mama told her it was time to let go of the tiny, pretty little jewelry box, because they were moving to a new home where they would have to create new dreams. And so Alicia, in her own mind and heart, felt a very personal moment of pain, for she knew she would miss her tiny, pretty little friend. And so Alicia wrote a note and placed it inside of a small tear on the interior of the box, filled with dream jewels and ballets that would forever dance.
And Alicia, in real time, in real life, fully allowed herself to immerse and see the distance of her full dream trance. And on a final montage, she saw herself as a young adult. Listen to her mama and accept the reality that she would leave Katerina the ballerina behind, but that did not mean Katerina would ever be forgotten. And so Alicia chose to honor her mama and Katerina the ballerina at the same time, and memorize the box and the feeling that it gave her, the box that was full of her dreams that she would leave behind for new dreams. But at least the next little person who discovered this box would open it and look at Katerina the ballerina with magical wonder and amazement, just as she had all of those years. And Alicia began to feel her body adjust in real time, but chose to remain a moment longer entranced, for she wanted to see what she had written on the secret note for the future owner of her little dreams. And so Alicia maintained her focus, and like a lighthouse, her body rested firmly, gently on the ground, on her bed, and her eyes internally moved exactly like a sturdy, poignant lighthouse, and illuminated the calm sea waters that were filled with her memories. From right to left, from left to right, internally and indefinitely. And she maintained her focus, intent on seeing what she had written on that little note, because she knew that reading that note that she had written and left as a secret for someone to find would give her that same feeling of wonder and amazement that she had every time she saw Katerina the ballerina. And so her eyes internally, like a lighthouse, went from left to right, right to left, and it illuminated over and over again the same pretty words that she finally saw in real time in a dream. And like a gift from the universe, her past met her present, and they allowed her to see in ultra lighthouse vision her dream memory unfold against the backdrop of her current life's perspective. And she saw the memory unravel and present itself to her lucid, fluid, calm mind. and the dream would present itself in a wave-like motion with the scent of watermelon in the summertime Los Angeles, California sunset air. And she felt herself and watched carefully from a safe distance with her current lucid mind in her own bed, with her body so in tune with her human frequency, and her paraclear thoughts all obeyed her and rested with full compliance and gave way to a real moment. And with the third eye, her mind was able to completely and utterly let go of anything but this very moment in real time. And as the sunlight began to break through the blinds in Alicia's bedroom in real time, she saw the final scene all beautifully work together, and she saw the note, which simply read, "I love Katerina the ballerina, and I know you will love her even more. Thank you. Merci." Smiley face. And she felt the waves of emotion roll in and out with euphoric motion, and offered her gratitude to her current mind for allowing her heart to feel everything, and that she was where she belonged,